This is Ms. Lee from Pennsylvania for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Every day, it seems like there's a new acronym that my Republican colleagues are afraid of, or fear-mongering and driving up some fear around. I'm having a really difficult time keeping up with them, so I think, like some of my colleagues before me, I hope that we can use this time to kind of get to the heart of what this is about. Mr. Freyricks, I was wondering if you can help me with a quick hypothetical, and of course, please forgive me if any of this is a bit repetitive, but we're all just trying to figure out how to deliver this information best to our districts. So let's say I'm a first-time investor looking to start my retirement fund, and we're discussing how to invest the money I've earned, or I've saved, excuse me. Yes or no, would you consider the average earnings over the past few years of a company and the growth of the overall industry?
Yes, most certainly.
Would you look at it? If the board had been recently accused of fraud or mismanagement?
That would be a risk.
Would you consider how compliant a company is with EPA regulations?
Most certainly. You might be able to save money by dumping chemicals illegally, but it will cost you. You can either pay now or you can pay later.
Thank you. Adding to that, why would you look at all of those factors when advising me on how to invest my money?
Because all of them will have an impact on the returns you make.
Thank you. Having as many data points, it sounds like, as possible minimizes risk and maximizes value, making our retirement accounts stronger. The pandemic, rising inflation, and stagnant wages have hit Americans hard over the past few years. Across the board, people are saving less for the future, so every single dollar counts. This Republican crusade against responsible investing is putting Americans' hard-earned savings at risk, and we can't sit by and let that happen. Mr. Freyricks, how will banning responsible investing lead to worse returns for Americans relying on public pensions for retirement?
Let me try and make an analogy here. We talked earlier about buying cars. You know, there are many factors you use in buying a car. You get to look at the car, you get to sit in the car, feel the car, smell the car, see if you like it. You also might consider price. Now, we also say that they should publish miles per gallon. Now, this is like saying, no, that is an environmental impact. You shouldn't be able to know the information on miles MPGs in your car. Miles per gallon will directly affect your costs down the road. You ought to have access to that. These factors that we talked about are similar to that. And these efforts to deny us information on environmental and social and corporate governance issues are making it more difficult for us to be good consumers.
Thank you for that. Republicans would rather force our public servants to throw away hard-earned money and extra fees than simply allow financial professionals to invest responsibly. They're willing to risk the retirement savings of our teachers, our firefighters, our municipal workers, our public servants, all to protect wealthy corporate interests. Limiting responsible investing isn't even a popular concept in Republican-controlled state legislatures, as my colleague from Florida before me mentioned, Indiana as one. The Indiana bill as one such option. Mr. Freyricks, who will be stuck paying the price if Republicans are successful in restricting and banning responsible investing?
It's ultimately on the pensioners, on the beneficiaries of these retirement funds, if they are getting reduced benefits, reduced interest returns, or they're paying more in additional costs like they are in Texas, or like your colleague from Florida pointed out, ultimately it falls on the taxpayers.
Thank you. Typically, responding to these extreme conspiracy theories isn't worth turning our attention away from so many of the important issues facing our country. But propping up their corporate buddies' interests at the expense of Americans' retirement is despicable. And we just can't let that happen. Thank you, Mr. Freyricks and the panel. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.